Hey everybody, Tim here for today's review of Doctor Who story number 247, The Time of the Doctor. I love, it's like the name, the day, the time, I like it. So this is it, the end of the 11th Doctor, the 11th hour, if you will. So, I don't know, I liked it, but I also had a lot of problems with it at the same time. So, I don't know. We'll just kind of go through it as we always do, from the top to the bottom. So, the overall plot, where everybody's hearing this call and they all like congregate on this planet, and it's every race ever, and you're like, ooh, what is this? And so then it like backtracks to what's going on. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love the whole opening, the naked doctor scene. And I thought about it. I was like, I need to do this episode shirtless. Like, if you've seen my Star Trek videos, like the Naked Time, the Naked Now, stuff like that, I did all shirtless. And I was like, I need to do this episode shirtless. But I didn't. I just wore a low-cut shirt. So, because with the whole perception filter, and Matt Smith just plays it so great. Like, I can't even explain how good of actors like they are to keep that straight face. Like when he meets Clara's family and he's like, I have an idea. I should extend the perception filter so they can see my clothes. And Clara's like, so I'm the only one seeing you with clothes right now? And he's like, yes. If I was a doctor, that would be me. But nobody wants to see this. Let's be real. So I was like, oh, okay, let's not. So overall, absolutely loved it. We see so many reoccurring villains. Like, we see the Silence come back. We see Angels come back. I did like the Doctor being bald. That was kind of out of nowhere. The Truth Field, the crack in the wall that goes all the way back to the first time we saw Matt Smith. Like, that's good. Like, that's amazing how long it's been since we've seen that. So I was impressed. They bring back the oldest question, Doctor Who. So we get that. And then, of course, Trenzalore, that we've heard before. It's the tomb of the Doctor. So overall, him just growing old on Trenzalore, fighting off all of these aliens, like I said, angels and stuff like that. The wooden Cyberman actually was impressive. Like, I wasn't even mad. I really liked it. It just kind of came out of nowhere. So I was like, okay. So it's been 300 years at this point in the episode, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, granted, we saw David Tennant, like when the Master aged him like 900 years. And so Matt Smith is 300 years old at this point. And then this is the part. Now, oh God, how do I even talk about this? When people were like, you need to watch Doctor Who, it's fantastic. I was like, okay, fine. I will watch Doctor Who. And I sat down and I watched Doctor Who. And 6 months later, people were like, I was like, okay, fine. I watched Doctor Who. And they're like, wow, what took you so long? I was like, well, and they're like, well, what did you think? Like, did you start with Rose or did you skip 9? Nobody should skip 9. And I was like, no, I started with The Unearthly Child because I started with number 1 and I went forward. And they're like, ew, what? Because nobody does that. And I'm weird, and if anybody like who's actually friends with me knows that I'm fucking weird. And I'm like, no, I have to start at the beginning. And so I did. And we go all the way through this. Doctor Who is not a show for continuity. Continuity is not a thing. If you need continuity, don't watch Doctor Who. And so when Matt Smith is like, nah, I'm not really 11... I mean, it's been nothing but 11. They go to a hotel, and it's door number 11, the 11th chapter, the 11th this, the 11th. It's nothing but 11s. And he's like, no, I'm not really a number 11. And he's like, remember Grumpy, like the war doctor? And Clara's like, oh, so you're 12. There's one more. And he's like, nah, actually, David Tennant regenerated twice into himself, because fuck that guy. So Matt Smith is now number 13. And it's like, that literally makes no sense. When you put it in the context of the series, Makes no fucking sense. I mean, you can go back to the Angels of Manhattan. How did he use regeneration energy? But, I mean, it is what it is. I accept it because fuck continuity. I don't actually need it. But I was like, why? Why is that a thing? But honestly, because who I am, I blame Eccleston for everything. It is what it is. Like, if he had just agreed to come back, everything would have been different. So, overall, evidently, Matt Smith is now the 13th Doctor. He's no longer number 11. And so, when they go through the whole thing, and Clara's like, he just needs your fucking help. Just come back and help him. And it's like, ooh, okay. And so, of course, they do, and he gets a whole new regeneration cycle, which is not the first time we've seen it. The Master got a new generation cycle, whatever. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, they just bought how many years, because now he gets 13 more faces. So, okay, I mean, we get it. It is what it is. And I mean, based off the last episode, we already know that Peter Capaldi is going to be the Doctor. So they had to figure it out somehow. I did kind of lose my shit when Amy, like, walked down the stairs. I cried. I'm not even gonna lie. I've seen this episode, like, a few times now, and I was like, oh my god. And when she's like, Raggedy Man, good night. And I was like, oh my god. Like, I puddle. Like, I was done. Because, I mean, she's my favorite. Matt Smith's my favorite. Out of all of New Who, they're just brilliant together. So I'm gonna tear up talking about it. I absolutely loved it. I did think it was great. There were parts where I really liked this episode, parts that were not so much, but it was a fun adventure, and that's what Doctor Who needs to be. It's just a fun adventure. So, curious what other people think about this one. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Let me know so we can talk about it, and I'll see you guys next time for Deep Breath.